Hello, Ellen. So you have a different scarf. Just mixing it up there. I love it.
Less Alaska-like,
Yeah,
more in-home.
I get it. Totally get it. We are pushing. Okay.
Yes. All right. You are live and you have host back.
Okay.
Go.
Wonderful.
All right. Have a great class.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Margaret, let's see. Have folks been using any of the Google apps at all? Just curious. Brian, how about you? Have you worked with any of the Google apps?
I took a class recently on Google Documents.
Okay, wonderful. This is going to be perfect, a perfect follow-on. Ellen Sue, how about you? Have you worked with any Google apps?
Sorry, I was trying to unmute. I predominantly work with calendar personally and email.
Okay.
But I've taken like the Sheets class and I've taken all the rest of the classes. I just don't have a reason to use them. I'm trying to build my skill sets.
Got it.
Right. So
awesome. Wonderful. Kathleen, hello. How about you, Kathleen? Have you used any of the Google apps? I'm just sort of taking a little survey. Oh, you're on mute, Kathleen.
I just thought I was on mute. Am I okay? Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, so I've done Google Sheets, Google Docs,
Okay.
Google Slides, a little bit, only like for one occasion to make some game things.
Okay, great.
I think that's about.
All right, that gives me a good feel for what people know. And let's see, we have two Margarets.
Okay, hi, this is Margaret Young, and I use Google Calendar, and I have taken a couple of the Google classes recently.
Okay.
So I'm trying to learn and use all of them.
All right, wonderful. Okay. So that gives me an idea that some of us have worked with Google. So I'll be today, just so that you know, when we talk about collaboration, for the most part, I'll be using Google Docs to demonstrate collaboration, but I'll also be hopping into Google Slides at one point, just to show you a different example. So that's what we're going to be doing today. I also wanted to let folks know that we have Lester with us from support, and we do have the chat open. So for those of you who have questions, feel free to unmute yourself today and ask away, or feel free to just put your questions in the chat. So we are all set, good to go. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so we can get started. And welcome everyone. My name is Vicki. I'm your Get Set Up guide for today. I'm calling in from San Jose, California. We're right in the heart of Silicon Valley. Just a little bit about me. I worked in high tech for 30 years, doing a number of different things, from technical support, a lot of technical training, and instructional design. I've been able to teach folks from all different countries, people who are very technical, as well as people who are not very technical, who are just really starting to dip their toes into this world of technology. For me, working as a guide with Get Set Up allows me to do what I love to do the best, and that's be able to educate folks about technology. So just a little bit about me, a few housekeeping details, and then we're just going to jump right in. We are a community that learns from each other. So ideally, we love it if you can have your cameras turned on. It's great for folks to be able to see you and you to be able to see everyone else, but I don't require it. I understand that some folks are just a little camera shy, but if you want to turn your camera on, that's really the best thing to be able to do. We are recording today's class, and if you would like a copy of the recording, you can email us at help@getsetup.io. And if we have any folks joining us today via live stream, welcome. You can see and hear the entire class, but I always recommend that you register for a class, and that way you can fully participate. And lastly, Get Set Up is a training organization. We're not paid to promote any specific products or services. We are all about the training, and we offer classes 7 days a week. We also have social hours, interest groups, and we are now providing classes in the US, Canada, the UK, Australia, New Zealand, and India. So pretty much 24/7, we have you covered. So that's a few of the housekeeping details. Today, we're really going to be talking about how you can share files with the Google Apps, how you can collaborate on those files that have been shared with you. And I also like to get an idea of how folks might think they can use the collaboration features that are available with the Google Apps to connect yourself with family, friends, work, social organizations. So I have a pretty good idea. Some of folks have been able to let me know that you've been working with some of the Google apps, have some familiarity, which is going to be a help. But we're going to be talking about really how you can share a document. So let's go ahead and get started. And again, if anybody has any questions, please just feel free to unmute yourselves and just ask away or put your question in the chat. I love to get questions. So by default, when you create a document, your documents are private. I know that we say Google Documents live in the cloud, they live in the Google Cloud, which is true, but all of your documents are private until you share them with others. And once you do share a file, a document, you determine as the owner of that document what access you give to individuals, whether they're going to be able to edit, just simply add a comment, or just view. So you control the access, and you can also share documents with individuals or groups of individuals. And I'm going to show you how to do that next. And so when we talk about sharing a Google document or Google file, there is always this share button available. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a Word doc that I have, and I'm going to show you what it's like to share. And so here's my Word doc. And I have been asked by my family to plan our next family reunion. So maybe 2021, maybe fall, we're thinking, fingers crossed, could happen. And last year, or not last year, our last family vacation, we stayed at the Hotel Del Coronado in San Diego. Just curious, anyone been to the Hotel Del or been in San Diego? Anyone? Yeah. A couple of folks, yeah, Margaret, okay, yeah, it's San Diego is just lovely, and the Hotel Del is right on the beach. It's gorgeous. We had a fabulous time, but my family has asked me to start helping to plan our next family reunion. So what I thought I would do is instead of exchanging emails back and forth, I would create this Word document using Google Doc. And I'm going to ask my family to start brainstorming and adding their ideas. And so I'm going to be sharing this document with my family members, asking them to collaborate on this document. So all of our ideas are in one place. And before I share this document, I wanted to just maybe put it out there for the rest of the group. Any places that you're hoping to vacation next? Any ideas that you can give me of places that you would love to go to next. Just feel free to unmute yourself and share. You want to go to London. All right. I'm going to put London down. Anyone else? Any places that are of interest? No, don't have any no takers today. Okay, I just like to put it out there to the crowd. So we have a couple of ideas, and the high school reunion in Delaware, sure. Delaware works. And feel free to add them to the chat. If you have anything else, I'll be happy to add it to our list. So in order to start sharing this file with others, Jackson, Wyoming. Oh, I like Jackson. Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Is that, I think? Yeah, Jackson Hole. Yeah, they have awesome skiing there.
Yeah, my son and daughter-in-law moved out there in June, and I would like to visit, but I'm not sure if I can still do that.
Okay, yeah, Jackson Hole, it's beautiful there. Great, thanks folks, I appreciate it. You never know what ideas are going to come across. You'll see in the upper right-hand corner of my screen, there's a share button, but you notice there's a lock. And what it's saying is it's private to only me. So right now, no one else has access to this file, to my file that I've created. If I click on this share button over here, it brings up a screen. And this is the share screen. So this is where once you are in an application, you will always see that share button. And the easiest way to start sharing a file with someone else is to add their email address. So for example, I could do, Harry@gmail.com. I have no idea, I don't know who Harry is, but I could add more. I'm going to start adding some of my family members. Here's my niece, Tara, my nephew, Royce. So I can literally just start typing out people's email addresses. And those are the folks that I'm going to share this file with. Now, you notice that some have Gmail accounts, some have, this is a Hotmail account. When you're specifying an email to send it to, it does not have to be just Gmail. It can be a Yahoo email account, AOL, Hotmail. So you're not limited to just Gmail, Google Mail accounts. I don't really know who Harry is. I just made up that email address. I don't think he'd be very happy to receive this email. So you're just going to start typing out different email addresses. If you have groups, so maybe you've created a group email address. I have one called family. And in my family email address, it has a number of different, everybody's email address from my family in there. So you can specify groups, you can specify individual email addresses right here. And once you've done that, the next step is to figure out what access you want to provide those users with. So right over here on the right-hand side, there is a button called Editor. If I click on that button, in the drop-down, I'm provided with Editor, Commenter, or Viewer. So by default, Editor is selected. And what that means is all of these people that you've added their email addresses to up here, if you make them an editor, they can do anything. They can add content to your document. They can delete content from your document. They have full editing capabilities. If you specify them as a commenter, all they can do is add comments to the file. And I'm going to show you how to do that. And then finally, if you add them as a viewer, then that's all they can do. It's read only. They can just view the contents of the document. So this is where you determine who's going to have what access when you share the file with them. Also, what you'll see on this screen is, I'll make it a little bit larger. It's going to let me do this. There we go. You have this check mark, notify people. When it's selected, and it is by default, what it'll do is send an email to all of these folks that you've specified in the share window. And you can type out any message you want. And I'm going to show you what it looks like when you've received one of these emails, how easy it is to open up the document from there. So I tend to just keep this check mark selected. If you deselect it, Google won't send an email, but you will have access to that shared document in your Google Drive. And so I'm going to type out a message, hi family, let's start thinking about places to go. There we go. All right. And then I'm going to click on send. And that's it. I've just now shared this file. A few other things that I wanted to show you. If I click on share again, I showed you how you can share by simply typing out people's email addresses. You'll also see down here, there's something called a get link. This is another way of sharing. And if you click on copy link, what it's doing is it's providing, it's copying the link. Let me just move this up here. This link over here. And remember, any files that you create using Google Apps, they're saved in the cloud. And that's what this address is right here. It's the address in the cloud. When you copy that link, there are a few things you can do. You wanted to, you could send it as an email to someone. And I get this question a lot. Do you need to have a Google account in order to view a file that's been shared with you? And you don't need a Google account to open a file and to view it, but in order to edit and collaborate on a file that's been shared with you via Google, you are going to need to have a Google Doc, because the only way that you're going to be able to edit that file that's been shared with you is, in this case, through Google Docs. So just know that you can view a file without having a Google account, but if you want to edit it, you're still going to need to have a Google account, which is free. And so what this get link will do is it allows you to then paste this link into another file, or maybe on a website or a blog. So there are a number of different ways that you can share this link in addition to sending it to people via an email. And then, for example, if you posted this on a blog or a website, anyone who can, and you can change the access, by the way. So anyone who can access the link can open the file. And what you're doing is you're setting them up as a viewer. So just another way of sharing this file. I just wanted to make people aware of that. Yeah, question.
Back on that link thing. So there's a group of people, I have like 42 people I just did a class with, and I wanted to send a class list to them, or I want them to have access to the class list that I created on Excel. So I put it on sheets, and I've only shared it with one person. But say there's 42 people in the group, I don't want to copy that, 42 emails.
In here, okay.
I do the link to the group, like there's a group on WhatsApp. Can I just send the link to the WhatsApp, and then everybody in there that wants it can just get the link?
Yeah, that's the idea. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. Great question.
I got a quick question for you.
Sure.
So I'm just curious, I'm trying to decipher, like if I'm in an email or if I'm on a website or if I'm in a document, I know I could share it, just click share and to ask how you want to share it. But that's different than what we're talking about. We're talking about something that you're sharing where other people could make changes and edit. That's a difference between these two shared documents?
Yeah, so when you share a document like this within Google, you're basically sending like a link of the document to these folks over here. And then you're deciding what they can do with it. So if you're making them an editor, I'm going to show you how you can open up the file that's been shared with you, and you can just start typing away and making changes to that file. And if you have a number, if you shared a document with a number of different folks, like I've done here, everyone can get onto that same file and be making changes simultaneously.
Okay.
Did that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. If it didn't, let me know.
No, it did.
Any other questions?
Yes. Can people without a Gmail account comment on the document?
I think you have to have a Google account to be able to comment. I believe I tested this, and all I could do, if you don't have a Google account, you can view the document, but you can't really do anything to it. So yeah.
That's good.
And
Okay.
I did. I had to test this a couple of times. I'll probably go back and test it again because I don't always trust myself.
Okay, I'll try it.
Yeah. There are days where I'm like, I'm pretty sure, I can't do that.
And then
What,
it'll change, yeah.
yeah, what I'm going to do is, let me see if I can, all right, I'm going to split my screen because I want to show you what it's like to work on this document as two people. So let me just do this. I'm bringing in another web browser here. And what I've done is I've logged on to my Google account, but my niece, Tara. So today I'm going to be going back and forth between two Google accounts, if you will, because I want to show you what it looks like to collaborate on a document as two different people. And so what you're seeing here on the right side of my screen is I've logged onto my Google account as Tara, not as Vicky. And the way that you know this is you'll see on the upper right-hand side, I have a little icon here. That's a dragonfly, and my niece Tara loves dragonflies. So she set up her Google profile with a dragonfly. I, on the other hand, was too lazy to do anything with my Google account. So I just have the default, which is a circle. I have a green color in my background with the letter V. So that's how you know when I'm working as Vicky, because I have the green with the V, or as Tara with our little dragonfly. And I've opened up Tara's Gmail account, and her inbox has an email message. And this is what it looks like when someone has shared a document with you and sent you an email message. I'm just going to click on it to open it up. And you'll see the name of the person has invited you to edit the following document. Now, if I were to change, if I had only given Tara commenter access, it would say has invited you to comment on the following document. And the same thing if I had just given Tara viewer access, it would say has invited you to view the following document. So this is what the email looks like when it comes into your inbox. And all you need to do is either click on the link here or click on Open in Docs. And then what it's going to do is it's opening up my email. And I don't know why, you know what, I have a number of different accounts. And so it keeps opening it up in a different account. Let's do this. Yeah. All right. So now I'm on Tara, and this is Tara's little dragonfly. And let me go ahead and just make this, I want to show both of them side by side so you can see. Let's see if I can make this a little, all right, here we go. So Tara on one side, Vicky on the other. One of the first things you can do when a file has been shared with you is you can make a comment. And so as Tara here, you'll notice, by the way, that the share button has changed. And it's no longer a lock because I've shared it with people. But what Tara can see is she can tell if other people have opened up this shared document. So I have Royce and Vicky. So I can tell as Tara that there are 2 other people that currently have this document open. And that's kind of nice to know when you're working on a document that's been shared. So easiest way to start adding a comment to a file is when I'm in the Google Docs application, I can simply, as I start moving my cursor to the right-hand edge of the document, I have these 2 icons that pop up. The top one is a little blue plus sign. That's the add comment. So that's the easiest way to add a comment. If I click on that, what's happening is I have a little comment box that pops open, and I'm just going to start entering in a comment. You know, I really loved the Dow, you know, and then it's very profound here. And I'm going to click on comment. And then what's happened is you can see I've added a comment, but also on the left-hand side here, let me just make this a little bit smaller so it's easier for me. You'll notice that automatically, and I'm working as Vicky, I see real time the comment that's been added. And I can always click on the comment and simply, if you want, you can reply. Yeah, whatever. Me too. There we go. Very profound. And again, I just want to show you how going back and forth, whatever happens, whatever comments have been added, automatically everyone can see in real time what's happening. And so, you know, think about this: if you're going to be sharing this file with other people, you know, there are going to be comments that are coming up on the right-hand side. And it could get a little busy. And you might want to think about, instead of simply adding a comment anywhere in the file, I would suggest maybe highlighting, clicking and dragging and highlighting a particular word, paragraph, something of interest. Then if you click on a comment here, let me just scroll to the right. How about, you know, Disneyland and CA? I'm just adding a comment, that's all. And the reason why this is nice to do is you'll see when I come to the left-hand side, and again, I'm working on this file as Vicky, I now can see that text has been highlighted. And if I move over to this color bar, you can see who has added the comment. Also, when I click on anything that's highlighted, what it does is it automatically brings their comment to the front. It sort of pops up there. And so that's just something nice to be able to do when you're adding comments. You can, I would always suggest highlighting some text first and then adding the comment. It just makes it easier for everyone to be able to see who has commented on what text in your file. Any questions about adding a comment? Now we're good. Pretty straightforward. You can see how anything you do as one user automatically shows up for everyone else who has the file open. The next thing I wanted to show folks is how do you just start adding text? So I'm working on this file as Tara, and remember the file was shared with me, and I can just start adding my own text. I'm adding Maui as my suggestion because I love Maui. So Maui in Hawaii. And again, you'll see, boom, there it is, real time. I'm working on the file as Vicky. It's right over here. And I can tell who's added it. It's been Tara who's added this text. So that's as simple as it gets for adding text. Let's talk a little bit about what happens when someone has editing capabilities and they start changing text, deleting text. So I'm going to come up here and I'm working as Tara, my little dragonfly girl. And I'm just going to make a change to some text. So instead of we had a blast at our last, killer family reunion. Let me just change that to awesome. All right, so I've made this change. And if I come up here and I'm looking as Vicky, I can't really tell that someone has made a change. And so there's no audit trail here. So this is the suggestion. I'm going to come back over here. And again, I'm working as Tara. I'm going to use Google's undo to go back to my original text. And instead, I want to show you how you can get into what's called suggesting mode. There's two ways of doing this, but let me show you the easier way. And if you can see in the upper right-hand corner, I have this little pencil icon here. When I click on this button, I have three options now. I have editing, suggesting, and viewing. I'm going to click on suggesting. And now let me go back. Come on. And let's go back. And instead of killer, let's go back and change this to awesome. Can everybody see what's happening here right now? When you go into suggesting mode, what it does is it leaves the original value of the text, and instead it adds the new value. And you can see here, when I go to my screen, I'm working as Vicky here. I now can tell that someone has made a change, what the change was, what was the original value. And as I hover over this color bar, who made the change? And so that's when you go into suggesting mode. And I think that's a much better method of working when you're going to be collaborating and you have full edit capabilities. Now, one of the things that you can do, and I'm just going to make this a little bit larger so you can see what happened here. When I clicked on this change, you can see that this Tara's name kind of popped up, and you can say, oh, Tara made this change. If you wanted to, as the owner of the document, if you wanted to accept Tara's change, you can click on the checkmark rather. If you wanted to reject her change, you could just click on the X or reject. And so as the owner of the document, if I clicked on accept, what it does is it then changes that value to awesome. And so that's what this suggesting mode does, is it provides you with an audit trail, really. And by the way, if you click on viewing, you'll notice now that the toolbar has disappeared. So as someone who's working on a document that's been shared with you, you may think, oh, I really just want to read, through this, and I'm afraid that I might, change something by mistake if I'm not paying attention. Then put yourself into viewing mode. Otherwise, you can go into suggesting mode, or by default, you're always in editing mode. Anybody have any questions about suggesting mode or editing mode? Okay. One question I always get is how do you make people go? Can you make people work in suggesting mode? Can you automatically set them up so that they're in suggesting mode? And the answer is no, you can't do any of that, which is unfortunate. I'm sure people have been bothering Google for a while now. What Google recently did, because you can just, maybe when you're setting up the share and you're typing out your message, your email message, you can say, folks, can you please go into suggesting mode when you make your changes? Teachers do that because a lot of schools, most schools use Google, the Google Suite. And so a lot of teachers just, they have to teach or train their students to go into suggesting mode. But one of the things that you may have noticed is in this, when I move my cursor to the right edge of my document, in addition to add comment, there's also this new suggest edits. So that's another way that you can get into suggesting mode. So it's here as well. And I think they probably did that because people have been complaining. So that is editing. And again, this is, editing, suggesting, viewing. Those are the different modes that you can go into when someone has shared a file with you. One other thing that you can do, in addition to comments and making edits, you also have what's called the chat capability. So again, this is being totally collaborative. And one of the things that you can do, you just scroll up a little bit so you can see this. You'll notice that there is this icon. It looks like a profile of a person. This is the chat. If I click on the show chat, it opens up a chat window. And I can say, thanks, Aunt Vic, for taking this on. And then I'm just going to press enter. And what it's done is it's gone ahead and just added this chat up at the top here. And if I move over here to the left and I'm working as Aunt Vic, you can tell with the V, there is a new chat that has come into the chat window. And if I open that up, then there's a whole nother window that opens up for the chat. And I can just say, you're welcome. And so we can have a chat going back and forth. So when you're collaborating on a file, you have comments, you can be editing real time. You can also be sending chats to folks who currently have the file open. So there's a lot you can do here. And let me know if you have any questions. I'm just going to click on X to close the chat down. It can start to get busy when you're collaborating on a file. You can have chats going on, you can have comments, people are making edits. You just have to get used to working in that mode, that's all.
Vicki, I have a question.
Sure.
I've been working on a document with some people and everybody's name kept coming up in different colors when they type in to edit. Is that something that as the host you can do, or does everybody just have to pick a color and decide to type in?
Yeah, Carol, I don't even know if you're picking a color. I think Google just assigns a color because I know I've worked in Microsoft Word, and when you're doing revisions and tracking changes, you have a lot more control over different colors that you can assign to people. I don't believe you have that same control here. So no, sorry about that. I'll check though. Yeah, you know what? Let me check. Color when collaborating. I'll check and I'll add it to our after class notes today if I find anything interesting. Yep. All right. What else did I want to show you? You'll notice if I'm going back to working with niece Tara over here, my little dragonfly. Tara has the share button available to her. So if I click on share, I can start sharing this file with anyone, with the immediate world if I wanted to. And I think, as the creator of the file, as Aunt Vic, the creator, I probably don't want anyone else having access to our family file. So I would probably want originally to have set up and control what you can do, who can share additionally. Let me show you how you can do that. So when you click on the share button, again, I'm working as Aunt Vic, who is the creator of the file. In that share menu, you'll notice that there's a little gear icon. That's what it sort of looks like. If you click on that gear, you have two more options. Let's see if I can make this a little bit bigger for you to see. The first option says editors can change permission and share. So these are turned on by default. If I deselect this, really what I'm doing is anyone that I've given editing capabilities to, they can no longer share. They won't be able to share the file with anyone else or change anyone's permission. So this really locks down that sharing capability. Then there is this viewers and commenters can see the option to download, print, and make copies. So you may not be aware that when you share a file with someone, if this is selected, what happens is even if they're just given viewing and commenting capabilities, they can download the file from Google to their device. They can print it, they can email it, they can make copies. So if you don't want that, don't want people to have that capability, make sure that you deselect this option as well. And so I just wanted to point out those additional sharing capabilities. And let me know if you have any questions about that. So that's really
I'm
all.
so sorry,
yeah.
Vicki.
No,
So
sure.
you, in order to put the security in, you uncheck or check?
You
Sorry.
uncheck.
You want to check,
yeah.
Make sure you check.
Yeah. And the other thing that you can do is, let's say someone's, I don't know, just been abusing the share. You can remove someone from a share. And what you'll do is you'll go to the share screen over here, and then you simply go to their name and you can remove them from the share so they don't have access anymore to the file. So that's something good to know about as well.
I'm sorry, I don't understand. So if you remove those permissions, then they no longer have access to edit. Is that right?
They can still, they can actually still edit, but what it does is, in this case, it stops them from sharing the file with anyone else.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they can still edit. It won't change that. And by the way, you can always edit people's permissions. If you made them an editor originally, you can change that and change them to commenter or viewer, or simply remove them. So you have control over what people can do once you've shared a file with them. The other thing I was going to do is I wanted to show you what it looks like to share a file in another application. So I'm going to go ahead and just minimize this guy over here. And what I've done is I've opened up another file in a different application. This application is Google Slides. And just as an example, I've created a Google Slides document. I'm going to be collecting our family photos, making a photo for people. And again, rather than, there are a number of different ways I could do this, by the way. There are a number of different Google apps that I could do this. I just wanted to, this is just an example so I can show you how to share in another Google app. I've given instructions on to my family, and basically what I've done is just, asking folks to add their digital photos here, where I'm sharing a document and they're just going to add to this document. And so again, what you'll see is on the upper right-hand corner, I have the share button. When I click on, right now, it has a lock, which means it's private. Nobody else can see this. If I click on share, there's my share screen. I can add family members. I'll go ahead and add my niece and nephew. I can type out a message, hi all, please share your photos. And I'll click on send. I'm going to make them an editor because I want them to actually add to this, this file. And then the next thing I want to show you is, where's my niece's, let's see, is this Tara? There she is. If I go back over to my inbox, and again, I'm logged in here as Tara. And anytime someone adds a comment or a suggestion or an edit, I just wanted to show this to you, you will receive an email notifying you. This is a new email as well. And I just got this email because now I have another file that's being shared with me. And this is I'm being asked to edit this. And again, if I just click on open in slides, and what I can do is simply start adding, it's like, sure, that's fine. I can simply just start adding in my comments if I wanted to. Now, Google Slides works a little differently. With Google Docs, there was suggesting mode, there was editing mode. You don't have that here in Google Slides or even Google Sheets. There's just, you can still collaborate, but it's just not as detailed a collaboration as what you can do in Google Docs. It's probably the nature of the application, what you're actually doing. And so here, what you could do is if you wanted to make a comment here, I don't know if you can see it. Let me make my screen a little bit bigger. Well, let me do this. Here is the comment button right over here. You simply click on that. And then you can say, whoops, where did I go? Where's my comment? You can simply say, this should be hilarious. And then just make a comment there. It adds it to the list of comments. If I come back here and I'm viewing this file as Vicky, the owner, what you'll see is the comment has, I can see Royce has commented on this. I didn't want to bring that up. I clicked on, here's my comment. Now I have to find my comment. Of course, it's not showing me what I want to see, but you should be able to see the comment. There it goes. Sorry about that. And here is the comment that Royce added. So again, I just wanted to show you what it's like to bring up a different Google app, share it, and then collaborate on it. Any questions about that? Okay. Let's see if there was anything. Well, let me ask you folks. So having seen the way that you can collaborate with different apps, anybody have any ideas about how they might be using this moving forward in their lives to do some collaboration?
Just like if I'm working on some type of project or whatever that involves a few other people, I don't want to keep them in the loop and everything. That's when I would think I would use it.
Yeah. And it's easy to do because again, you don't have to like do the email back and forth
Right.
because that just gets really messy. And so
Right.
this
It
is,
would make it easier.
Yeah, exactly. Great. Anybody else have any just ideas?
I'm looking for a way to have a sort of central repository of resources that people add to that we can organize in some ways. I'm not sure that so I'm not sure what the options are.
A repository. Can you give me another some more details?
Well, okay, so we've started a little group for climate action, and there's all sorts of stuff. Sometimes we get email alerts, sometimes we get notices of conferences coming up with invitation to join. Sometimes it's videos of things that have already happened, or it's just right now it's a hodgepodge. Okay, and
one of the things that you could do is using Google Drive, you could set up a folder and share the folder with your group. And anytime anything new comes in, it'll just be in the folder.
okay.
And have you worked with Google Drive at all?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
Not that I know of.
Not that you know of. Okay, so that's one option. I don't think Google Collections will work for that. Yeah, so new things can be coming in. I mean, that is one way to use a repository, is to create a folder using Google Drive. So for example, I'm just going to bring up Google Drive. And these are just different folders that I have in this one test account. You could actually just share a particular folder with different people. And then if they have edit, I could just share it with someone. If they have edit capabilities, then multiple people could have access to that folder. And they can be, either they can be viewers, commenters, and they would be able to access files in that folder as well.
So is there any sort of automatic notification when things are put into the drive?
I think so. And I'm going to notification if drive is shared. Let me check on that for you. I want to verify that myself.
Thank you.
Okay. And new posts. Okay. Well, we'll find out for you, but that's one possibility. Because if it does work that way, what I'm thinking, then it would be a nice help and people would be notified. So let's find out about that. That might work out for you. Ellen Sue, you go ahead, you use this for your, conservatory music program. You're sharing your sketches and songs. Okay. So you weren't doing collaboration work, but you were just sharing using the.
Right. The director created the space and sent everybody a link. And that's where we would either upload tapes of our shows or put everything so that the show was in one place.
Okay.
The running order where the show was, etc. So, but we never edited each other's things unless we did it on Microsoft. So this was interesting to see how that works.
Okay. Yeah. And that's another way. I mean, even if you're not collaborating, just being able to share is really useful as well. Okay. And Carol, you're with your local library, friends of the local library. Oh, you're updating the bylaws together. Okay. Yeah, I mean, and these are what I'm showing you here on my slide. These are what other students have told me how they're using the collaboration. And it doesn't necessarily have to be just Google Docs, but in this case, this is what it's for. Some people are writing their family history. Some people are working on teams. It helps with planning events. Even one person said, for a potluck, instead of exchanging emails back and forth, they just shared a Word document, said, put down what you're bringing, everybody can see it, and then, we don't have to worry about it. So, yeah, I think, these are really interesting, book clubs and so on. So just things to start thinking about what you can possibly do with collaboration. And
so
yeah,
everybody who's on the team just needs to have their Google account.
Yes.
And that's it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's all free. Yeah. Margaret, the group that has responsibility for planning. Oh, the reunion. Okay. Yes. Share photos and memories. one of the things that you can do if you're going to be sharing photos and things like that, you also can use what's called Google Photos. That's another app that's available in the Google App Suite. And you can create an album and then share the album with others. And so they can collaborate on that album. They can add their own photos to that album as well. So again, this whole idea of sharing and collaborating, that's what the whole Google Suite is built around. So just a quick summary before to wrap it up. So just, we've been talking about the ability to share documents, share any files that you created with any of the Google apps. You as the owner, you assign permissions who can do what. And then all collaboration is done in real time. Hopefully you were able to see that. I mean, moving back and forth between two different Google accounts. And, you do have this ability to go into suggesting and viewing mode. So you might need to instruct others to do that if you're going to be doing any kind of collaboration. I wish Google gave us a way to set that up when you're setting up your share, but it doesn't. So there you have it. I'm going to be sending out class notes after we wrap things up today. I have 2 questions that I'll make sure I get responses to you. One of the things that I love to suggest is for folks to give feedback, use that feedback link. If there are any other classes that you would like to see us put out there, please let us know, because that's how we make things better. If there are any classes that you would like to see us schedule more frequently, again, let us know. That's how we make things better. And I want to thank everyone today for joining me. We have lots of other Google classes that we put out there. I teach a number of other classes as well. Zoom classes, Google classes, Snapchat, TikTok. So if any of those seem like they may be fun, please feel free to join us. And I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing here. Let me know if you have any questions at all. I'm going to stay for a couple more minutes after class is over, and I'll be happy to answer them. Otherwise, I want to thank you so much for joining me today, and have a great rest of your Monday.
Same to you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks so much, everybody.
Thank you.
Let me know if you have any other questions that I can answer.